was giving a talk, I wouldn't. Okay, let's be clear about that. But in a fantasy world, if I was giving a talk, let's call it a TED Talk. I hate those, but that's good. If I was giving a TED Talk in total fantasy world, let's not be delusional. Let's just be fantastical. Suspension of disbelief. All right, here we go. I was giving a talk to the entire. I like to be ambitious when I'm doing fantasy talks. I like to talk to everyone in the world. I want to command the attention of the second moon landing. It's like you think it's the second moon landing, and then you all glue to your TVs, and then I start talking, and you're like, "All right, we'll listen to this douche until the moon landing starts." You figure out a pre-game show. You know? It's like, no, I'm the whole deal, people. Anyway, I'll moon you at the end if you want. You can plant a flag. Anyway, if I was talking to a group of people, a modest assortment of our fellow man, I would say, make a folder in your mind. I know I do. Okay? I know I do. And it serves me to think of that today. Make a folder in your mind. And it's marked, ready? Awful people. Awful people. Bad, evil, confused, strange, predatory, innocent. Conglomerations of various human motivations that basically fuck you over in some way. Alright? Pollute your blood. Things you can't be too sensitive about, my brothers and sisters, when it comes to the dear, wonderful thing that it is to enjoy every day of your life without unwanted cunts messing with your shit. Okay? Perhaps a bit crude, so we'll just put it in a nice little folder called Awful People. Now, let's say you scan your entire life and you put, whatever percentage of people in your life, what percentage would be in that folder? So let's go through it in our minds. 1% of all the people you met could be classified as awful people. What about 2%? Double that. What about 5%? Anyone out there? 5%? What about 10%? Could 10% of the people you've ever known be put into the folder awful people? What about 25%? Anyone still left out there? 50%. Anyone still holding up their feather? What about 80%? Anyone? What about 90%? 95? How about 99% of the people you met? Right? I'd still be holding up my hand. In a great audience of people, I'd be standing there going, and the speaker would be like, "Sir, no one's ever stood up that long. You're a very courageous man. Let me shake your hand. Finally, I found an honest man. Everyone, look at this man holding his feather and talking about it. That is one honest motherfucker. All right? You should be on the stage telling us how to live." Because that's a difficult world to live in, isn't it? You must be one courageous dude to walk around with an awareness that 99% of the people you've met are awful people. And so you're really prepared to consider how and why people would be awful in terms of conditions that are uniformly applied to the human race. You're ready to be truly compassionate. You're ready to be truly angry. You're ready to have a new heady brew of nectar that the king himself will be given as a medicine to wake him up from a sleep of 1,000 years. What else would it take? Right? Your body vomits when it's got something bad in it. You're telling me that only 1% of the people in your life have made you have something a little sticky in your craw? What about the human race in general? That's millions of people that you're living around every day. Right? It's easy enough to fill up that folder. You could say brown people, black people, blue people, white people, and women, everything in between. But let's not generalize for the moment. Let's just say that you specifically know people who have done things that are served up by motivations and compulsions which no TV show or religion seems to adequately enumerate to your satisfaction. Like there really is anyone else there who knows just how cunty it really is and how much crap and violence flows underneath most people's radar. That, it's enough just paying the bills to spend all the fucking time it takes to put words to it. They'd rather, be doing a million other things. Well, that's what I do. That's where I come in. That's just what I seem to want to do with my time. I don't know what this road is or where it goes, so I'm just going to find here. Yeah, that's the awful folder, and I make most of my theories out of that folder. just you talk in your mind. You tell yourself these stories about people you knew and what they did, and how we really do enter into a suspension of disbelief when we live around people. And if they happen to be psychotic, if they happen to be unwell, our trust is converted by them into our suspension of disbelief. Out of politeness, out of a lack of wanting to, stir things up, we let things go on around us. And a lot of those things, they don't cut us, they don't immediately threaten us, but they're still really not very good. And they often form part of a pattern or a mosaic that leads to other not good things. And then we live in this world where it says, don't be stuck up, don't be judgmental, lower your boundaries, lower your inhibitions. Whenever I've been around someone, I was around the person I guess I was supposed to be around. Right? But anything I enjoyed about their company was taxed by just about everything they ever said to me and about me, ever, from the first moment I met them. It was all taxed. Whether they made positive generalizations about you, negative generalizations, right? I've had female roommates who wanted me to throw things out because they hated them so much. From theft to lying to, you name it. But these are people that I live with. These are people that I would we would say they're sympathetic characters in the story of human existence. Right? Not anti-heroes. Just people trying in a way that you're all too sympathetic to, but who are unfortunately lying, creeping, vampirical sort of people. I mean, it's not like you have to identify that, they're sociopathic, but then it's part of a mosaic of oppression. Humans are powerful. You would say, if we're healthy and we're in a wonderful mosaic, we're like, woo, and we're being fed the nutrition of some sort of way of thinking abstractly about how that mosaic translates into the capillaries and the limbs of our own flesh and blood, and then feeds the system back. What a wonderful vision that would be. Breathing in every level of our minds every day, and well disposed to greet everyone with a ready smile, a joyful and, if cautious, regard for our fellow man as we live in the mosaic, compared to which the rest of our lives are quite barbaric, are undernourished with that mosaic, right? But overlaid into it is a mosaic of behavior that seems absolutely opposite. And in every case, someone you would like to think is reaching for something that will make them feel better. And they grab your dick instead, or they grab your tits, or they suck your money, or they carve up the truth into so many lies, or they're afraid of you, or they just learned just horrible, horrible things that limit their ability to communicate, which includes limiting their ability to make an adequate provision for your voice and your own safety. No matter what type of trust, no matter what type of benefit of the doubt, we prefer to give and dole out to these people or those people because they are this, and that. So that compassion just get hacked at. We're all compassion. People hack away at it with their mental problems every day. And so there's like a mosaic of sickness, demonic mosaic that resonates with your folder of all the awful people in the world, or all the awful people you've known, or all the awful people I've known. Okay, where are we now? So I can go down this road and go home, or I could go this way. I'm going to go this way. I'll say out of country plates then. Mission. I think there's the people like your mom and dad, and you have a range of ways of considering things that were awful about their world or their world with respect to your world because of stuff your family went through, stuff your mother was through, your mother's sick, father's sick, Uncle Zach is an alcoholic, and all those little stories that live in the background. They don't, though they are there and exist and have a persuasive influence over your entire family's behavior and coping system, aren't things that anyone really wants to talk about that much because it doesn't go anywhere good. There's nothing you can do with that except live with it. But living with it requires a suspension of disbelief and an intoxicating denial that can make any family as good as a bunch of crackheads. They can then be this, that, or the other, and then resort to things that are extremely cruel to any and all human beings among or outside their group. And all of that, any of that, is going to be protected so well, they're going to seem like sociopaths. Like, how could you be so good at not seeing that? And that's through learning, negative reinforcement. There's something about the real conditions people endure, the real things, right? That we would, to know, we would have to really ask each other before we shut each other up with a bunch of sin and debt and hell and forced speech and forced quiet. And say, if we just listen to the babbling brook and let our own flesh and blood knows about every fucking thing that hurts us, we would have no problems left in the world. Think about it. We tap more oil than human voices. That's a problem. Money shuts people up. It doesn't get the words flowing. Alcohol might get things flowing, but it shuts off all the parts of the brain that allow you to make good use of it and prevent yourself from fucking hurting somebody. What a stupid drug, right? It's an embalming fluid, for Christ's sake. Alcohol, it's an embalming fluid. If you want to be a dead fucking pharaoh, go ahead and keep drinking that all day. You have to suck your brain out of your nose by the time you're done. Suck your liver out of your ass. You can use it to fucking pickle other people's organs. To fucking start slaving the limbs and the livers of people around you. They'll start fucking processing your septism. They'll give the people around you cancer just by buying a little bit of Jack every day. It's a disgusting drug. And it pollutes the mosaic of human connection. No wonder they want you to keep fucking buying it every day. It's an antiseptic at best, right? Look at this. Oh, the sun is just driving it fast. I'm gonna go and force it to take a piss. Oh, that's quite a walk today. I have really no sense of how far I've gone. What I want to do is go in the forest. Just clean my ass with the sun. I want to like open my ass for the sunlight. It just needs a little bit. And something sore. I can't do that. I'll do this instead. What is that thing so nice? This is amazing. We all want this. Maybe not far enough to see you. I drink my third glue. Yeah. Uh, you trust people that are not to be trusted with anything, and what happens? You share something with someone, right? What happens if you trust someone who's not to be trusted? Well, you trusted someone or someone or someone, you know, trust all kinds of things every day. This doctor said to me, "Oh, your trust was betrayed," like it was nothing. Oh, I see, your trust was betrayed. Oh, that's simple. Oh. It's like, et brute, et tu brute, you know, that was her theory. What a fucking moron. When you know more than your doctor about what's going on, and in some cases that's, you know, understandable. In some cases it's unforgivable, depending on the doctor, right? The doctor can only know so much, you might say, but sometimes I think I've known more about how to think than doctors I've known. More about how to think about myself. Sometimes people, they look like morons because they try to know more about you than you do. And that's stupid, right? These areas of what I call adequate provision for our voice and our own safety, they're slurred all the time. It's amazing how well people learn to slur those boundaries to satisfy economic demands. No sooner are we sitting in front of a TV as children that we're learning how to slur, confuse, and conflate various relationships between various things, including gender. Gender among all things. Okay. Trying to think what to do. I think I'll smoke a little bit. Just take a break. Quiet. It really is quite a gentle day now. The sun's out. Don't reason not to be quite happy about how the day has turned out. I just cleaned my ass again with some antiseptic alcohol on my ass, and it sort of helped. And I dried it up there. It's just not a good time for some. Yeah. This day alone, I've probably talked more about my own asshole than every other YouTube video in existence. Just goes to show how much I care about my own ass. I wish I had a friend. My sister is a narcissistic sociopath. A more constructive way to put that would say that my family suffers from a disease, alike that you would expect attending any kinds of major domestic violence. Or a cult. And cults take their genesis in our families. There's this common sort of social meme like that. People come home for Thanksgiving and have to put up with their relatives. Why do you think that is? What's really hidden beneath the surface of movies about going to your relatives for Christmas or Thanksgiving, how much people drink, and the crazy relatives? Why is the auntie-uncle crazy? Why do families have these crazy people? My sister, since she was very young, had the ability to erode your safety and your sense of self-worth with a few chosen words that clearly emanated from sincere interest in protecting herself from the shame of knowing you. And your problems became her shame. That's sociopathy, right? Your problems are not my shame. I don't become worried about feeling ashamed of myself because you're having a difficulty in life, you know. But in families that can happen, because in an alcoholic family, a sociopathic family, or family with sex abuse, you know, it's a really big deal. A lot of my father's own sociopathy came from trying to save face. And the more you're trying to cover up, and the more you've learned to cover up, the more you're going to be violent about anything that interferes with your ability to cover up certain things that you don't like about your family, yourself, your siblings, your parents. And you might become abusive. And so people drift as they grow older, and they become parts of other groups. Right? Now follow me. Follow this drift. Follow my drift. Follow the drift of all humans who aren't royalty into the economic world, where everyone wants to save face, right? But nobody can. In fact, you leave your family or cults of family to enter the world of work, and you're not yourself anymore. Okay? Your face and the face of who you are to other people has now become a very different new animal. Socialization in modern economies does not involve anything other than very useful or very sincere theater. The actor putting on a show is very sincere. Among the great perversions of the theater, which is what its purpose is to reveal many perverted things and many lies through the singing sincerity of someone who merely needs to act things out. Right? So your father or your mother in a group can act a certain way, and they come home and they're different. And they're very sincere at both times, but they're very different people. Which one is real? And when you're coping with things, when humans are coping, when the brain is coping, it's not real anymore. That's the problem with it, right? And denial goes up, starting in the womb. And things are developed, and your brain develops, your hormones, whether you're going to be a go-getter or like to sit back and watch the universe unfold, is being decided by conditions which are causing your brain and blood and your development pain enough to change the way it's developing. So you're born in shock, right? People are born in shock. And this shock develops a psyche, develops a double self, that over time, this shock becomes part of someone in your development that is and must strive to aspire to become a better part of the economic reality. Oh, how do you do? Not a bear. I know. And nobody knows this, and nobody, except the people controlling it, makes the schools. And we could talk about what schools are designed to do to your mind, right? The architecture of all schools, the reason they look like prisons is because they're meant to feel like prisons to your nervous system. It doesn't matter whether you know that, the people studying you know that. And that person's energy was very closed in. It was okay because I'm in equilibrium. My butt's feeling okay, but yeah, it did hurt a bit today. I'll be good about that. Good to your butt. That will be the cost of today. Sore butt. Check. Runny stool. Check. Taking a crap in public when someone can see you at any time. Check. Wiping your ass with an unwholesome array of seaweed, gravel, and ivy. Check. Following that up with a couple long exposure applications of COVID-friendly antiseptic creams and alcohol, moss, underwear, rubbing, feeling, itching, awing, and numbing. And then the return to some quietude in the anal region, which I have come to really appreciate. Okay, so that's part of my journal for the day. Captain's log. Runny. Yeah, and there's this drift acting. Virginia Satir, famous American Canadian family psychologist, said everyone in a family is lying. It certainly can feel that way. And the best you can do is adjust what kind of role playing is going on. What kind of person do you think this person is supposed to be to you? Most people never talk about that. If you ever told your dad what you expect him to be to you, by the time you're doing that, something's wrong, right? Yeah, you're supposed to be this way. Your dad's not supposed to do that. Hey, Mom, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to be this kind of mom. Come on. I want, I need, like something desperate. Why can't you understand me? What's that?
It becomes a bear.
Yeah, because it's a bear, yeah. Well, that's the first thing I would think. Yeah. I heard. Sorry, if I go with if something or someone is coming out of this. But I might think a person also. People are enjoying the silence. This is basically the most fun we've had in a month. This is where I like to spread my cheeks, but I can't. Oh God, if only this was all my state. I'd be like, Higgins, yes, make all these people go home, but it's a federal park. I don't care. Exercise maximus praxis logos emogos. Get rid of the people. Horns start sounding. People start fleeing. Thank you, Higgins. I always enjoy that so much. Yes, sir. I'll leave you to spread your ass cheeks to the sun now. But of course, one fucking photojournalist from National Geographic is hiding behind a tree. Maybe he was taking a piss, and maybe he's stone fucking deaf because he spent so many days here that he's heard that siren one too many times and been right near one of the poles. He's like, 1,000 dBs is not so good for the old ear rolls. And he's like snapping away. This is the king. What should I do with these photos? Sell them to the highest bidder. Blackmail the king. Hey, Mr. King. I might be the first photojournalist to ever have pictures of the king's asshole. Hey, can I see those? Hey, that's pretty good. Yeah, see, in this one here, I'm feeling the final relief. Over here, not so much. See that smile? That's when I saw your camera. Yes. You see, I've invented this thing in my kingdom. It's called a Jewish lawyer. Believe me, anything that was about my asshole is Jewish lawyer. I'll buy those photos from you for a reduced sentence. Well, bring me one of your newborn daughters, and I shall make you a bastard child. Wait a second, according to this list, you already are one of my bastard children. You'll be the first bastard squared. Higgins, do you believe this? What great good fortune I had. Writing one of my great storybooks, full of fairy tales about the king's malignant fantasies. Oh yes, we'll call it history. I was going to call it astery, but I thought people would catch on. We'll call that astronomy. Make their people come from a giant black hole. Nothing. Zero. Ground zero, in fact. Notice like in movies where like the bomb is counting down to zero. What happens at zero? Things blow up. Ground zero, blow up. Nuclear explosion, ground zero, blow up. When did history start? Oh, blow up. Where did the universe begin? Blow up. Right? It's like we began history with the birth of a child sacrifice. It's like, whoa, dude. I gotta stop smoking around you. You got Amachi, who's an Indian played by white royalty, saying that in order to be a hero, you have to be a zero. If you want to be a hero, be a zero. What is she really saying? Right? She's using the occult out of the American School of Science. Right? A hero is a zero. If someone willing to be nothing becomes a hero who's an actor. And the actor's many canticles bring measures of death and memento, memento mori, and the knowledge of death.